Ragnir, things like that, but it looks like this match is going to be a match of the heavies. We've got Hysen on the Thor and Neeze not on the Jaeyun, instead going to be over to the Olgrim for the Axe versus Hammer here for game number 1 of Losers Round 1 here in the top 8 of things. If you had to pick, who do you think this one's favored towards?
I honestly don't know, because Neeze is coming in with this level 20 Olgrim. Interesting choice here. I'm looking at his Twitter right now, and I thought he said, yeah, he tweeted, "Sorry to all my fans, but I've unfortunately stepped down from humanity and became a great sword player." So I'm a little bit curious why he's coming in with the Olgrim. He doesn't have any characters reported on Smash GG, so we don't really know what he was playing earlier as he went down in the losers bracket from winners round 1 of top 32. So I don't believe any of his matches got streamed, but he did get the win out over Viper. You're talking about some of those Qatar boys really not being here anymore. Viper was one of them that got knocked out by Neeze.
Well, likely this Olgrim was the pick against Viper, but man, Hysen's orb looking clean right now against Neeze, just bouncing this ball all over that Olgrim head. But it's over to the Hammer for the knockout potential. Just a stomp side air would put Neeze in a terrible position. A little too low for that down air. The neutral air not got enough force on it just yet.
Ooh, that side air coming through from Hysen, but the backstep from Neeze gets away from it. Puts a little bit of damage onto Hysen, immediately throwing out that signature. Weapon toss goes high. Hysen has his pick of the weapons, goes for this orb as the spawn comes in. Again, Hysen going to be able to strip the field after picking up the KO onto Neeze. Now we're about a minute into this game. Weapon spawn comes in. Neeze is able to immediately grab it as it comes in high on the right side.
Hysen dipping down underneath that soft platform to sneak around Neeze, get back up onto the main stage. Didn't find the down air, but nice little opener with the neutral light. Needs to get more damage onto Neeze before he can look for or before he can worry about losing this stock, but Neeze with a neutral light and Hysen with an immediate wake-up gravity cancel neutral signature.
And he had the time to react because Neeze threw the weapon toss basically straight to the left at the height where Hysen's neutral signature ended. So you saw Hysen dip down immediately with the fast fall to get away from that weapon toss. Good movement from Hysen, good reaction time from him as well to get away from that probably fatal weapon toss. Neeze does clean it up not too shortly after, isn't too far behind. He has the only weapon on the field right now, but one comes in again to the right side. Going to be a hammer in Hysen's hand.
I almost want to see Hysen throw away this hammer, though. It doesn't seem the most comfortable against Neeze's lance, but as I say it, starts finding the hits, does not get the priority with the side air, but this side air will beat it out, and the weapon toss guarantees the knockout, stopping the recovery of the lance. That right there is the quintessential reason why people say lance is rough to play on the edge, because it puts you on these obvious tracks. If you get those movements stuffed, then you get taken out.
Now, despite Hysen's hammer struggling early on, we're seeing it sort of completely turn around now, maybe like Simple's hammer did previously in his set against Acno, where it was really struggling in the beginning. It looks like Hysen is picking up that pace a lot more quickly than Simple did, as we're only in game 1, and his hammer is doing work, his orb is doing work. This Thor pick is fantastic for Hysen in this game. It's not going to take too much more for him to find the KO, but another side air from Neeze. Hysen stalling as best he can.
Yo, he still gets back up, though. Neeze not able to take this stock off of Hysen. Hysen back to the hammer, gets the scoop up, and Hysen going to take game number 1.
It was a very confident game number 1 as well. Still had 2 stocks on the board. Now he is going in the defense stance. So that's going to give him even more survivability, coming in with a nasty defense of 8. There you're seeing that replay where you talked about that hammer toss going in while Neeze is charging up that recovery.
Now we're seeing Neeze going to be forced over to a different character. I think this is the Pro Series character that he played where he really pumped off. But it's going to be the Diana, another Diana coming out in the European region. This is interesting. I was not expecting this much Diana coming into this.
Yeah, kind of 2 Dianas back to back. What a privilege for us and the viewers at home. He has a, let me look real quick. I forgot what level it was. I think it was lower than Hysen's, who has level 50 something, I believe, on this Thor.
Well,
this is
I
actually,
didn't
this is a level
catch
53 Diana.
Okay. It looks like he's definitely put in some time into this Diana. Already starting off with the bow play, looking much better here in game number 2 because Hysen ran wild in game number 1, not able to punish the ground pound. Does get a neutral air, but that's just a small hit onto Neeze. Neeze is going to have complete stage control. You can see how far back Neeze gets to play because of the long range downline.
Neeze controlling most of the stage as Hysen finds back-to-back stomp combos. One starting on the right, then you see Hysen pushing forward. The dodge is gone, but Neeze is able to float back down, get over to the bottom corner.
Can't punish the gravity cancel neutral signature. Still in the air on that one. Hysen stuck on this corner. He's got to be careful. Can't recover too high against a Diana because you'll get caught by that neutral signature. Again, misses the down air. Neeze looking pretty good here in game number 2.
Toss comes out, just barely taps Neeze. Ooh, that's a good spot, but Neeze immediately answering with the exhausted recovery. You saw the first one that came out got interrupted. He traded his jump for another recovery so that he could put out a hitbox to hit Hysen away from him. And Neeze is going to go up early in this game. About a minute and a half in, so it took a considerable amount of time, but he has this lead early on in terms of stocks.
Now you're seeing Hysen lean a little bit more towards the hammer. It's the thing that's been able to put out more damage onto Neeze. I kind of want to see him stick with it, throw away the orb. Yeah, he's going to be sticking with this hammer for game number 2, as Neeze does find a fortunate weapon spawn at the top of the map. Not able to find the side light, but a neutral light into a side air comes out from Hysen.
Hysen throwing out a lot of movement before he chooses to commit into the game. You saw a side signature there. The D-Light into the pivot nair. He's showing a little bit of his gun tech coming out into this, but he gets hit by a falling side air. He's doing his best to zone out, but Hysen's doing a good job fighting with punishes. Now the lead is in Hysen's favor as he hits the side air for the KO, swapping back over to the orb. Now back over to the hammer, so it seems like he doesn't have necessarily a weapon of choice. He's just kind of cycling between them before he figures out exactly what he wants to do.
Uh-oh. But a nice ground pound from Neeze will take the stock off of Hysen. The way that Hysen was positioning was definitely looking for like a hammer recovery to go for that reversal for the quick gimp. But Neeze played that really well, played just high enough to avoid that recovery and then get that ground pound. But like you're saying, Hysen not overly leaning towards one weapon or the other. First game looked very orb-centric. Game 2 looking pretty hammer-centric so far.
He's doing a fantastic job of leaning on these blasters here and finding tons of damage. Not sure what that recovery was for as he hit the side air before it, obviously sending Hysen to the right side. Juggling with nairs, hits a side air. Neeze now in the lead, has to be careful on the edge, picks up a low recovery, so it isn't going to be the KO option. Hysen betting a lot on that ground pound. He's going to be stuck on the wall. Neeze picks him up with a neutral light.
This is looking real good for Neeze. Hysen does reset his jumps, does reset that wall slip timer, but a side light, side air from Neeze will take game number 2. 80 damage difference between the two of them.
Yeah, definitely very close in a lot of different ways between them. They both had a lot of damage on their final stocks. Only 80 damage difference between them. Both of them playing really well with both weapons. But towards the end, you saw Neeze really focus on those blasters. Found a lot of damage with them and the KO. Also threw out some edge guarding opportunities that he came out on top. Not necessarily always finding the KO, but still coming out in terms of the damage trade in Neeze's favor. And that is going to force Hysen over onto the Petra pick. Going to be another orb character, but he's going to trade the hammer for some gauntlets. And this is what I want to see from Hysen. I love a Hysen Petra.
You say that, but it's so odd when game 2 was so heavily set towards the hammer. I would have expected him to switch to something that retained that hammer, but it seems like Hysen, he knows what he likes to play with. Of course, we've seen this Petra come out in competitive from Hysen before, so it's not a completely wild pick, but it's just kind of odd considering how much he liked that hammer in game number 2.
We'll see if the gauntlets are going to be able to match the work he was doing with that hammer. Oh man, Neeze is controlling this so hard. His blasters are so good. There's a weapon spawn in the field. Hysen's going to change over to the gauntlets. Hopefully Hysen can do what he wasn't able to really do with the orb. He can get on top of Neeze, stick to him hard, and play on that the blasters have a high range, but also a big dead zone in between several of the hitboxes.
Yeah, Blasters does not have the best stacked options. Gauntlets, on the other hand, has great stacked options. Downlight into the ground pound, and Hysen going to take the early stock advantage.
Now he is in the red. Neeze again going with
close.
the ground pound. Found a solid ground pound last game that put Neeze in a really good spot. There's the sidelight. Chase dodging up, but Hysen goes up and then he goes down. So he's away from Neeze.
Downlight into the recovery will even up the stock count. It was an interesting option there. On the corner, Neeze went for a wake-up gravity cancel down signature, trying to get a reversal on Hysen if Hysen whiffed, but Hysen stayed right below him. Went for kind of like the classic gauntlet string of downlight, sidelight into the neutral layer.
Neeze picks up another D-light. There's the sidelight into the recovery. Hysen still maintaining his lead, has Neeze in the orange. 1 or 2 more hits, and Hysen will be right there with him. Big side save comes out, hoping to grab something, turn it in to something big there for him. He's still in the yellow here after that neutral light from Neeze in the ground pound. Hysen now extending his lead even further. Another ground pound KO from him.
All right, I see it. I see why he swapped to the Petra. His gauntlets are on fire, not literally, but figuratively, as he is doing so much work with these gauntlets against Neeze here in game number 3. The clap to put Neeze off stage, and another ground pound could be the stock. There's the clap again. Neeze running out of movement, can't get the wall touch, and Hysen takes game number 3.
The gauntlet switch. Gauntlet's difference coming out from Hysen here only took 396 damage to KO. That is less than 150, which is that's where you turn red. TDBK said it earlier. It's less than 150 damage per stock. So his opponent is still on average in orange when he's finding KOs.
I mean, just look at that last stock. You saw the replay just a moment ago in the orange. It's just complete denial of wall touches coming out from Hysen. And now Neeze going to bring out a set of gauntlets of his own as he makes the swap over to the Mordex for game number 4.
Now, Mordex is going to be Neeze's highest legend, I believe. Yes, that is true. Going to be level 71. So a lot of time spent on this Mordex.
And both of them going to be coming in with the defense stance, want to be as close or as high defense as they can possibly be, as it's going to be gauntlets versus gauntlets for game number 4. Neeze bringing out his biggest guns possible. This Mordex, his highest level legend, like you said.
Now, Hysen is going to start off with the orb, kind of like he did last game. But once he got with the gauntlets, everything changed. That's what he needs. Everything changed when Hysen's Gauntlet Nation attacked.
I was curious how you were going to string that one in there. Hysen swapping over to the gauntlet. Sozin's Comet is not here yet, but he does put Neeze on the corner. Great position to throw down that giant orb of death, but Neeze back onto the stage, and the icicles catch the feet of Hysen. A little bit of frostbite.
Hysen queued up that spot dodge earlier than Neeze did the side signature. Like, if Hysen was trying to react to that, he would have known that you don't go for a spot dodge against that side signature. It is very rare that you will make it all the way through unless you time it like an absolute champion.
Yeah, it is hard to beat that out in just raw frames. Both of them now in the red, though. Neeze finds the gravity cancel above the downlight of Hysen, and Neeze is going to get the first stock.
Hysen is up 2-1 in this set. He can find... this is not looking good for him.
Good fast fall.
He's going to have to find a turnaround very quickly as he's already in the yellow on the second stock. The side air didn't KO. Maybe if he found a sidelight beforehand, might have been able to finish that up, but he does grab a pair of gauntlets. Out comes the recovery for the KO off the top, swapping back over to the gauntlets. Going to deny a weapon spawn for a little bit longer. Now putting more damage. Neeze trying to spot dodge. Hysen throws out the down air, going to make it through. But Neeze answering. More damage coming out. Really, the gauntlets difference is for both players here.
Real pummel party coming out between both of them on these gauntlets, just putting the fisticuffs to work. Nair connection. I love the movement from Hysen. Didn't go for the obvious follow-up of like that jump rising down air. Instead went to the side, caught him with the side air. Again, just little extra moments to beat out what Neeze is reacting to, but Hysen still on the back foot in terms of damage.
Yeah, that side air was really clean from Hysen. Oh man, the recovery gonna send him over, also disarming him. Neeze ready with the ground pound right as Hysen is getting towards the wall. Comes out. Neeze is about 50 damage at least ahead. I'm sorry, about 100 damage ahead here, unless Hysen is able to find something big.
Edge guard situation. Hysen does not find the ground pounds that he was finding in the previous game. And Neeze just looking to take this one. The neutral signature is not enough. Petra is not a low-strength character. Miami Dome doesn't have the highest ceiling in the game, and yet that neutral signature was not enough.
Oh man, Hysen's looking for the KO moves. He'll start it off, but his ultimate end goal is the recovery.
Oh, no.
The weapon toss going 45 degrees.
Dodge.
Hits Hysen. Weapon toss is going to confirm it, even though Neeze was already dead. Hysen is going to have to play the stock of his life here if he wants to take this set. He has any hope of taking this set 3-1 against Neeze.
And that situation right there is one of the reasons why some people will struggle with gauntlets, is finding that finishing blow. Because gauntlets require a read to get that knockout, it can be so difficult. You'll see people playing against gauntlets extending their stocks.
Silent recovery coming out from Neeze, ended up missing. Hysen's fighting his way back. Gauntlet Neutralite, one of those might do it. Neeze finds another one from anywhere closer than the center of the stage. He's playing very safe here. Oh, goes for the D-Light into the side light. Hysen gets through it, though. Does take the D-Light, but he's already so damaged, it almost doesn't matter as long as he doesn't take a KO move. Both of them searching for the recovery. Parallel lines never intersect.
Side Sig puts Neeze off stage and disarms Hysen in a great position here to steal this game. Trying to deny the weapon, but Neeze with the turnaround. Gravity cancel, downlight into the recovery. Went for the horizontal, wanted to go perpendicular to the vertical lines of Hysen, and that means Neeze is going to take this to game number 5.
Now, if you look at the damage numbers, it's 643 coming out from Neeze compared to Hysen's 527. So even though Neeze got the victory there, Neeze was really close to being KO'd as well, but it was like 120 damage difference between them. So even though Hysen lost that game, he's still more efficient at taking stocks, at getting those KOs, and now he wants to throw away those gauntlets that might be a little bit inconsistent. He's going back to the Thor pick, grabbing the hammer that you wanted to see more of.
You know, I almost want a core, man. I want hammer and gauntlets. Those are the things that look the strongest for Hysen. His game 1 with the orb, fantastic. Started so strong with the orb, but since then, I have not been seeing that momentum with the orb. I almost want the core, but it's on Hysen here to decide what he wants to play, because this is game number 5. This is do or die, not literally, but of course it means he's going to get knocked out of the tournament if he loses here.
It's interesting that we don't see the core from him, because it's around the same level as his Petra and his Thor. Both of them coming in, or all 3 of them coming in at level 36. So he has about the same amount of experience on those characters. It is curious why he is not opting for a possible core pick.
And we've seen core do pretty well. Boomy in North America just yesterday was playing that core pick, but here we are. Game 5, Hysen with the Thor has the hammer in hand, does not find the stomp, but does find a scoop as Neeze is sticking with his own gauntlets.
And core even has a sick troop combo. Has the D-Light into the N-Sig. You're right, he should play core.
Thor does too.
Eh. It's not as good.
It's definitely harder to hit. You have to be more stacked.
D-Light N-Sig on core is free.
All right, there's the orb. Gets the down air, pushes Neeze away. Less free than that core Sig combo that Sparky was talking about, but Hysen's in trouble now. Stuck on the corner as Neeze hits the ground pound. Hysen, no opportunity for the GC N-Sig. Didn't have the dodge, and that means Neeze going to take the lead. Game number 5, Neeze just needs to maintain this momentum to win the game.
Hammer back in Hysen's hand. Neutral air coming out. Neeze was too low and behind him, but a stomp side air from Hysen is going to even this one up. We're about 1:40 into this game before both initial stocks were taken. There's a weapon spawn on the field. Hysen throwing away his hammer, getting the hit stun to continue his move as well.
Big hammer swings. Even opting for a weapon toss in the middle of that was trying to get the weapon denial, but he did get the damage lead at the very least off these hammer hits. But Neeze gets the dodge read on the dodge down from Hysen, was not able to find the extension after that read though.
Neeze is still behind.
Oh no.
Man. Hysen ended up going into that ground pound. Neeze going in with the signature. Too far away though for Hysen to actually be able to punish it. Goes for the stomp. Goes through the platform, turns around, hits the neutral air. Man, these players are so even. Hysen with just a little bit of a lead as he picks up the hammer down air for the KO off the top, swapping back to the hammer.
Very damaged though, that recovery almost putting him off screen. Throws away the hammer, and now Neeze has the opportunity. Again, though, it's Gauntlets. He has to get the read to get the knockout and reads the movement of Hysen for the down signature. And we are now in the final stocks here in game number 5 between Hysen and Neeze.
Now, unfortunate for Hysen there. Oh, he did have a hammer. I didn't think he had the hammer. I forgot that he primed it when he threw that orb away. So I was a little bit worried that he died before grabbing the weapon that would have been an orb. So then he would have started this stock with an orb instead of starting it with a hammer. But I was wrong. I didn't keep track of it. I miscounted the men.
But fortunately, Hysen kept track of it. But unfortunately, Neeze keeping track of those jumps, man. He is getting the hits, the control of the scythe. Might be a little bit too much for Hysen. It's going to be into the red. Stomp side air. Disarms Hysen. Going to prime a hammer. Might not even have the opportunity to swap to it.
Oh, no!
But he gets disarmed.
Oh,
There's
no!
the priming coming into effect. Goes for the style! He went for the style, and Hysen going to take it in game number 5.
Hysen did it! You were right! The hammer coming in clutch for him. Maybe play core going forward because Duke gave some good advice, so maybe listen to all the advice. The core could be PogChamp, but man, that hammer, that weapon spawn came in so clutch for Hysen there. He needs to thank his lucky stars that that weapon spawn was there.
No. That is... like, y'all know the story, right? We're here in Valhalla. This is Brawlhalla. Thor, son of Odin. That was Odin being like, all right, son, you need a little bit of help here. And giving a little bit of that god favoritism. Maybe somebody should check the tapes on that one. But either way, Hysen wins it in game number 5 at the last moment. And he's going to be moving on to fight Swada. Man, that was an intense finish at the very least, I gotta say.
That's messed up. We don't like nepotism here. That's messed up. Someone does need to check those tapes.